We're starting a series that will go through into February called Unfiltered. Unfiltered is the name of the series, and if this will start listening to me, that'd be great. There you go. Let's go back to that. There we go. All right. Unfiltered is the name of the series, and so we're going to be talking about filters in our lives, right? And so how many of you guys know, like in social media, there's a bunch of filters, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. But today I want to talk to you. The first message is the problem with filters. The problem with filters. So how many of you know that in the beginning we kind of played this game called Let's Make a Deal, right? And in Let's Make a Deal, you're given a choice. Right? And sometimes it can be an easy choice, and sometimes it's a difficult choice, right? Because it's like, do I take box number 1 or do I take box number 2? How do I know what's in box number 1, right? And so innocent, she's like, yeah, I'll take box number 1. That sounds good, right? And so she opens up box number 1. No, you had box number 2 or 3. You had box number 1, right? And so, anyway, I'm getting confused, but it doesn't matter. You guys are understanding what I'm talking about. Like, you open it up, right, and you're like, man, this is a cool prize, but how do I know if the prize that is in the other box is going to be better or worse, right? Like, Sarah took a chance, and man, she walked away with a $10 Sonic gift card. Like, that's a good prize. Now, Innocent walked away with a Zaxby's gift card because she was like, yeah, I want that. And it had $2.93 on it. Like, man, that won't even get you a drink right now. Like, you might get a nibbler if you're lucky. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not here to tell you, listen, side note, Zaxby's peach tea is off the chain good. Highly recommended. All right, back to the sermon for a second. So we're stuck sometimes in these decisions and these choices, right? Like, and it can kind of be a temptation, right? Kind of be like a temptation. Sarah was up here and she's going, which one do I pick? Which one do I pick? Like freaking out because it's one of those moments. And so I want to kick off tonight, and I want to ask you guys just a couple of questions. Y'all good with some questions? So here we go. Would you rather give up candy for the rest of your life or soda? Would you rather give up candy or soda for the rest of your life? If you would say candy, I want you to raise your hand. And if you would say soda, I want you to give me a thumbs down. All right? Candy, hands up. Soda's thumbs down. Man, a bunch of y'all will give up candy. You must like your soda. Some of y'all are like, I'm not giving up soda for nothing. I like soda, right? So, interesting. It's kind of like a mixed crowd, but, some of y'all said I'd give up candy. All right. All right, here's the next one, which is really interesting. Would you rather have $100,000 in cash or $1 million in gift cards to one store? Would you rather have $100,000 in cash or $1 million in gift cards to one store?
You get to pick the store.
You get to pick the store.
Doctor store. They told me Bass Pro, I'm buying 8 boats.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry. If you would say the $100,000, raise your hand. If you would say the gift cards, give me a thumbs up. All right, so what store?
Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop. Why? Y'all are never going to spend $1 million at Bass Pro Shop. You are never going to spend $1 million in your lifetime on Dr. Squatch. Academy. Y'all are stupid. Listen, let me tell you. Here we go. Listen. Are you ready? Long-term goal. I've thought a lot about this. My store would be Walmart. And you want to know why? Because then I don't have to buy groceries every week. I've got a gift card. Cha-ching, guess what? Money in my pocket. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to spend $1 million at Walmart in my lifetime. So then my gift cards get passed on to Jolie and Maggie, and they can keep shopping at Walmart. But, I see what Miss Lizzie spent this week. So maybe I would spend $1 million at Walmart. But I'm telling you, long term, I'd have more than $100,000 because I'd use it at Walmart. All right, there we go. All right, would you rather, here we go, last one. Would you rather know everything about the world and have nothing, or have everything in the world and know nothing?
What?
Would you rather know everything about the world and have nothing, or have everything in the world and know nothing?
I don't want to know.
I just need to look at it a lot until
That is true.
Yeah, but
So if you want everything and know nothing, give me a thumbs up. If you want to know everything and have nothing, raise your hand.
you really have curiosity, aren't you?
I don't got no.
You switched it.
I didn't, I just said it backwards. Amazon's a good one. Amazon's a good one too. All right. I think everybody's kind of confused on this one, right? I am. All right, anyway, we'll move on. All right, so we played this game, temptation, right, and all these things. So let's talk about temptation tonight. Temptations can be difficult. They can lead us to do something wrong. But I'm here to tell you tonight, you don't have to be trapped by your temptations. Today we're going to look at them, and we're going to talk about filters. All right, there we go. I'm getting my mind in this. I got distracted with the question. All right, my brain's still trying to figure out what it was talking about with knowing everything and not enough. Awesome. All right, here we go. Reset. Boom. All right, here we go. So, filters. Social media is full of filters. Have you ever scanned your friends list on any social media picture and looked at people's profile pictures? I guarantee you, at least half of them are probably filtered in some way, right? Like, I just started scrolling. I'm like, yeah, that's a filter. Yeah, that's a filter. Yeah, okay, they edited that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, everybody wants to show the best of themselves. Like, I'll never forget, I used to be the photographer, right? For like, at our old church, all the girls wanted pictures after church. I don't know what it was. They're all like, hey, we have matching dresses. Let's all get pictures against the brick wall, right? And somehow I ended up the photographer. I don't know why, just probably because my wife was in them. And so I have to take these pictures, right? And here's the thing I learned about pictures with girls, right? They're like, hold on, everybody put your legs just like this. It makes you look skinnier. Everybody put your tongue to the roof of your mouth because it makes your double chin disappear. And then after you take the picture, right, then they're like, hold on, let us see it real quick. And then it's like, listen, there's one girl had me take the picture 6 times, and I'm like, all right, listen, this is the last time I'm taking it. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you cross your eyes. I don't care if you blink. I don't care if you look fat. I'm not taking this picture anymore, right? But they're like, I gotta see this picture. Oh no, I look fat. You're as skinny as a roll. What do you mean you look fat? You're what? Like, but we have this like mentality and this thing like we have to put on this presentation, right? All right, so your favorite youth pastor, hopefully, I always call myself that. I don't know why. I'm speaking it into existence. Played around with Snapchat today. Can we go to my first one? It should be a side by side. So here we go. Look at these. I took this in my office. Same exact angle, like unfiltered. This is me raw. Raw right here, raw PT.
I like the raw.
But right here, man, look, I got no wrinkles on my forehead. All my little blemishes are gone. Look, my eyelashes are real good. Like, I'm like, oh, you better watch out, honey, okay? Like, but here's the problem is nobody's sending this picture. Everybody's sending this picture. Everybody's posting this picture. We don't want no blemishes to show. We don't want our teeth to look yellow. We gotta whiten them up first. No, we don't want that zit to show. Right, man? Look, it even changes the color of my beard. It looks good. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember what my next slide is, but we'll go to it. Like, listen, we get unfiltered, right? You're like, whoa. Right? And then all of a sudden you get filtered and it's like, okay. All right, next one.
That was wrong.
Right? And if you're not careful, like, reality, her hair color changed. Her hair color totally different. Like, this girl, her eyebrows look fuller. Like, this is just a filter. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how are we supposed to even trust people? Y'all know what I'm talking about? How are you supposed to trust anybody? Because you got filters. All right, next one. I mean, you got all these crazy filters, man. You got like, is my profile picture. Like, James Bond in the house, bro. Right? Like, this is my personal favorite. I mean, I could become a girl just by filters. Look, you can't even tell I have a beard. How crazy is that? Look, if I want big lips, I can have big lips. If I want a small nose, I can have a small nose. I don't even know what's going on there. If I want to be old, I can be old. You know what I'm talking about? Like, this doesn't even look like me. This dude's a stud. I don't even know who he is. But I can make that my profile picture, and people look at me and go, man, look at him. That dude looks like he weighs 160 pounds and he's buff. And I'm like, surprise, 260 and fat. Boom! All right? Like, anyway. Yeah, I'm married, so that wouldn't be on my Tinder profile. Okay, anyway, moving on. I better move on really fast. I'm going to find myself in trouble here soon. So as we talk about filters, right? And so there's like this false narrative that filters create. And here we go. So in the gospel story, we find where Jesus, who is the Son of God, is being tempted. So we're going to check this out in Matthew chapter 4. Matthew chapter 4, if you have your Bibles, you can flip there with me. Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, it says this. When Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted there by the devil for 40 days and 40 nights, he fasted and became very hungry. During that time, the devil came and said to him, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become loaves of bread. But Jesus told him, no. The scriptures say people do not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Then the devil took him to the holy city of Jerusalem, to the highest point of the temple, and said, if you are the Son of God, jump off, for the scripture says, he will order the angels to protect you, and then they will hold you up with their hands, and you won't even hurt your foot on a stone. And Jesus responded, the scriptures also say, you must not test the Lord your God. Next, the devil took him to the peak of a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. I will give it to you, he said, if you will kneel down and worship me. Get out of here, Satan, Jesus told him, for the scriptures say you must worship the Lord your God and serve him only. And then the devil went away, and the angels came and took care of him. Jesus was hungry. He'd been fasting for 40... Listen, y'all, hopefully you're going to fast with us at church, whatever that's going to look like for you. But when Jesus was fasting for 40 days, the man was hungry. Listen, if I go 40 days without eating, y'all better look out. I'm going to eat the stone. I ain't even going to worry about it being bread. I'm going to eat the stone, okay? But the devil came in knowing he's the Son of God and says, listen, if you are the Son of God, why don't you make this stone into bread? Listen, I'm hungry. If Jesus won't turn that thing to bread, I'm cool with it. Like, bro, I know what hungry's like. Turn it to bread. It's cool. But Jesus comes in and combats him and says, listen, we don't live on bread alone, but every word that comes from God. Right? And so then Satan then tests him and seeing if God really loves him, and he puts him up on the tallest point of the temple, and he says, listen, you could jump, and God, the word says that God will save you. Don't you trust it? And then Jesus comes in with more scripture. He's like, no, listen, we don't put the Lord our God to the test. And then the last one. He says, he flashes all the kingdoms of the world before him. And he says, listen, bow down to me and worship me, and I'll give it all to you. Right? I'll give it all to you. Now, sometimes what we don't realize is Jesus is the King of Kings, right? Like, so he is promised to be king. And so when Satan comes in, he's like, listen, Jesus, you don't have to die, and I'll give you all the kingdoms. You can become king. All you have to do is bow down to me, and you don't have to die on the cross. And Jesus, like Satan's playing checkers. Y'all ever play checkers? Y'all ever play checkers? Like, you know, he's moving pieces, trying to set Jesus up, but Jesus is playing chess. And Jesus comes in, he's like, listen, the kingdoms right now don't matter. But what does matter is the eternity and people's salvation and bringing them back to the Father. So let me just tell you, no, is basically what he says. And Satan leaves right from there. Okay. What we learn from this story is this, that Satan filters the truth. He takes the truth and he filters it into his own narrative to try and tempt Jesus into these things. And so, listen, I'm here to tell you that sometimes things get filtered and it may look good, it may act good, but I'm here to tell you it's not the reality of something. Like, listen, you saw the picture of me, okay? Like, you can take the reality and you can take the filter, and sometimes the filter just looks better. It takes away the blemishes, it takes away the wrinkles, it adds a little spark and a little twinkle, and it's like, hey! But I'm here to tell you the filter is just a false narrative, and that's what Satan does with temptation. He brings it to us, but he doesn't tell you everything. Point number one tonight is this: we are all tempted. We are all tempted with filters. We're all tempted with filters. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12 through 13 says this: if you think you are standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations in your life are no different than what others experience, and God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you can endure. Listen, God, what Paul is saying here in 1 Corinthians is, listen, temptation's hitting everybody. All of us are tempted. All of us are tempted with the same stuff. Like, you're tempted, I'm tempted. It's all around the same thing. Like, it all deals with the same stuff. But he's saying, listen, God is faithful. God knows the reality of the temptation, and He'll provide a way out. Like, He knows. He'll show you the truth, right? And so you don't need to give in to those things. Galatians chapter 5, if you want to flip there, I need a drink of water real quick. Galatians chapter 5, verse 17 through 21, it says this: for the sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature desires. Y'all ever dealt with this inside of you? These two forces are constantly fighting each other. So you're not free to carry out your good intentions. But when you are directed by the Spirit, you're not under obligation to the law of Moses. Then he goes on in verse 19. When you follow the desires of your sinful nature, the results are very clear. Sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasures, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambition, dissension, division, envy, drunkenness, wild parties, and other sins like these. Let me tell you again, as I have before, that anyone living that sort of life will not inherit the kingdom of God. You can't be saved and live by these things, is basically what he's saying. The Message translation, I don't preach the Message a whole lot, but I just happen to like, it breaks it down into a little bit easier language for us. Verse 19 through 21 in the Message, it says it this way: it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex, a stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage, frenzied and joyless grabs of happiness, trinket gods, magic show religion, paranoid loneliness, cutthroat competition, all-consuming yet never satisfied wants, a brutal temper, an impotence to love or be loved, divided homes and divided lives, small-mindedness, and lopsided pursuits, the vicious habits of depersonalizing everyone into a rival, uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions, ugly parodies of community. I could go on. And I'm here to tell you, you will not inherit the kingdom of God. See, I'm here to tell you tonight that temptations are simply fleshly desires that promise something, but it's only a temporary. It's only temporary. How do I know this? Listen, let me just tell you this. People drink alcohol. They drink alcohol because they want to put all their problems behind them. They want to get rid of it. They don't want to worry about everything going on, so they drink and they drink and they drink and they drink until the problems go away. But then, eventually, they sober up and the problems are still there. You didn't get rid of the problems. It was this fake, cheap trick that tried to draw you in to say, listen, if you will just do this, all your problems will go away. And they do for a small amount of time. And then you're still stuck with your problems. Pornography. It says, look, enjoy this. Feed the desires of your flesh. Look at these pictures, man. And look at these videos. Like, it's going to feed this desire in you. Like, honestly, the pornography just, at the end of it, just leaves you still feeling lonely. Like, you only look at that junk because you're lonely and you're looking for something, and it's this false narrative that's trying to tell you that you're valued and all these things, and at the end of it, you're just empty and alone. It's fake. It leaves you with nothing. Masturbation promises this sexual fulfillment, this self-gratifying. But honestly, it's just outside of God's design of sex and marriage, and it leaves you empty and alone. Bitterness. We hold on to someone's wrong actions, right? Like it's justified. Like, listen, they wronged me, and I'm going to hold them accountable for their actions and their wrongdoings against me. But here's the thing, they just forgot about it. They've moved on, and you're the only one that's hurting. And it creates a bad attitude in you, and nobody else wants to be around you because you're just bitter. Worry, right? I have to try and control my situation. Like, everything's going crazy and I've got to try and control it. And we allow worry to come in. But listen, worry has no control over anything, and all it does is mess us up. Some of you are lonely, right? And so in our loneliness, we try and just talk to as many people as we can, right? Like, we talk to people and we don't even know who they are. Y'all ever done that? When I was growing up, AOL Instant Messenger was the thing, right? And I'm getting on dial-up internet. Right? And then finally it signs on, and then AOL is so nice enough to tell me I've got an email, and it goes, you've got mail. And I'm like, yes, I've got email. Somebody loves me. Oh, it's just junk, right? And so then I log into AOL Instant Messenger, and I log in, and I can chat with all my friends that I have on there. It's just like text messaging, but it's before text messaging, right? And you had to log in online, and then you could get in these things called chat rooms, right? And you can get in random chat rooms and talk to random people all around the world, right? And you're just like talking about nothing or something. Or who knows? You don't even know who these people are. You're just hiding behind a screen. Sounds a lot like a lot of us nowadays, right? But there's a lot of people that are in chat rooms, right? And they're like, I'm a male and I'm 25 and I'm looking for a female. Right? And then they're waiting on some female to hit them back, you know. And listen, I'll just be honest, you know. When I was bored, hey boy, you know, like I'm typing like I'm a girl for a few minutes, like trying to mess with them, you know. And even back then, they're like, yo, send pictures of you, you know. And I'm like, here's a dude, like, you know, mess with you, right? And then they'll like get mad at you, and they like send you a bunch of cuss words, and you're like, oops, gotta go, right? Blocked. Anyway, y'all did that. I don't even pretend like you hadn't done anything like that before, okay? Listen, I've been there, I've done that, okay? Listen, but honestly, like, it's like we're trying to find love in all the wrong places and looking for people to kind of feed that desire of loneliness in us, but I'm here to tell you that it doesn't ever fill you because you just keep looking for the next person. God created us to have real friends, right? And then when it comes to marriage, like, your spouse should be your best friend and the ultimate fulfillment in that, and you won't find that in anybody else. Okay, all these things are filtered. They have a promise attached, but it's just a temporary fix. Just temporary. The truth is hidden by a filter, and it makes it look good, it makes it sound good, it makes it like it's going to be good, like it's going to be the end all, like it's going to fix everything. But the truth is that all the desires of the flesh will never be satisfied. And you're going to continue to be miserable. That's the promise. Doesn't that make you feel good? All those promises, you're just going to be miserable at the end of it. And you're going to keep looking for more, and you're going to keep looking for more, and you'll never be satisfied. You'll just be miserable. But point number 2 is this. Be real. Remove the filters. Remove the filter. Remove it. Because I'm going to tell you, when you see who Jesus is and see who you really are, can I just tell you who you really are? You are created by God. And God created in you a desire for Him. And the devil tries to put filters on all these things to make it sound like they will satisfy the longing in your heart for Him. And guess what? It doesn't. And so you just continue to find yourself empty and miserable because you've got to find Him. It is in Jesus that all the filters are removed. And we can look at even ourselves. And listen, I know all of us have. We've looked in a mirror and we've gone, man, I don't like this about myself. Like, man, I wish I didn't have fat rolls. I wish my nose was smaller. I wish I had a different eye color. I wish my eyebrows didn't touch in the middle so it looks like I got a unibrow. I wish I had bigger legs than I do. I'm tired of little skinny chicken legs. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. And we just look at ourselves and want all these other things, and we want to filter ourselves and change all these things. But I'm here to tell you that none of that will satisfy. But when you see yourself for who you are, created and loved by God, and you're just real about it, you find this all satisfying in Him. When you're just real, when you just get alone with Him, right? Listen, they say that your generation wants authentic. You're tired of fake. You want real, right? And listen, I know I titled this Be Real, and I know there's an app called Be Real. I really didn't even put 2 and 2 together until after the fact. But you guys are looking for the real. You want the real, and I'm here to tell you tonight that Jesus is the real. Like, there is nothing outside of Him that will ever satisfy your soul, that will ever satisfy your spirit, that will ever satisfy your flesh. It is Him and only Him. But the reality is we all fight temptation, right? We all have temptations of different kinds, right? You probably know them. You probably know your temptations right now. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm struggling right now with this. Like, we all have temptations. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to really think for a minute and think and identify the lie about that temptation that you're dealing with, right? Like, your temptation could be that you just got a lot going on in life, and man, if I could just get a 6-pack, drink it, man, all my problems will be gone. But what's the lie? The lie is, as soon as you sober up, your problems didn't go anywhere. They're still waiting for you. You're just stupid enough to try and avoid them. It's just temporary. But in God, our problems can be solved. Don't be worried if you struggle. Listen, Jesus was tempted. Jesus was fighting the same temptations we all struggle. But instead of ignoring it or embracing the temptation, allow God to fuel you. It said that God creates a way out, remember? We must remember that God has an unfiltered love for us. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter who you are. Can I tell you today? I'll look you in the face and tell you, you are loved. God loves you. He cares about you. He loves you unfiltered. There are no things that you have to, no hoops you got to jump through to be loved by Him. He loves you. He cares about you. The Bible says while we were still sinners, that Christ died for us. That unfiltered love, He looked past that and said, listen, I'm going to die for you. I love you. I care about you. And so listen, it's time for us to start taking those filters off our lives and begin to focus in on the one who unfiltered loves you. There's a problem with filters, and it's this. They change the narrative. They change the way things look. But it's time we get real and we look at things unfiltered. So tonight, the unfiltered truth. I'm not going to fluff it up. I'm not going to do anything. But the unfiltered truth of the gospel is this. Jesus loves you, and he came and against all their temptations, he says, I'm going to die on that cross because I want to die for them. Because I don't want them to be separated any longer like Adam and Eve caused. I don't want them to be separated from me any longer. I want them to be in communion with me. I want them to walk in the garden with me. I want them to be with me again. And so tonight, I want to ask you this question. What things in your life are you trying to filter? What are you trying to filter? Maybe you don't like the way you look. Maybe you're not okay with that. And you're trying to filter it. Maybe you've got so many things going on in your life, you're trying to filter it through something to fill that void. An addiction. What are you filtering? What are you filtering? I want to tell you tonight that God loves you. God loves you. Tonight I want to ask just a simple question of you. I'm going to give you a chance to think about it for just a second. Do you truly understand the unfiltered love of God? Do you understand the unfiltered love of God? Do you understand how much God loves you? I want you to think about that for a second. Do you understand? Because if you did, it would change the way you live. It would change everything about you. You wouldn't try to hide behind filters. Like, listen, can we get real for a second? Like, how many of y'all like change your personality a little bit based on who you're around? Like when you're around this friend, you're one way, and you're around this other friend, you're a different way. Right? Why? Because you filtered your personality and the way you act based on who you're around. I'm not harping on you, we all do it. Right? Like, we put on a church face when we're at church, we put on a school face when we're at school, we put on a work face when you're at work, you put on a home face when you're at home. Right? Like, every single area of your life almost seems like a different version of you because we filter who we are a little bit different based on who we are. Like, you know, I showed like the 10 different versions of me today. Right? Like you can filter yourself to who you want to be for that situation. But I'm here to tell you, God just wants you to be you. He created you and He didn't make any mistakes. Some of y'all, you need to let that sit in because you need that freedom today. God created you and He did not make any mistakes. He didn't make a mistake with how high your voice is or how low your voice is. He didn't make a mistake with how big your nose is or how little your nose is. Listen, your chicken legs were on purpose. I'm sorry. Listen, He gave you the hair color and the eye color you have. Listen, I'll be honest, the one thing that I don't like about myself is I feel like I got these tiny little eyes. I feel like I got tiny eyes. Lindsay's got big eyes. JoJo's got big eyes. Maggie's got big eyes. And I'm like, man, here I am with tiny, squinty little eyes. I don't even know.
I got a broken nose.
Right? You got what? A broken nose? And so it's easy like to look at things and go, man, I wish this was different about me. I wish this, but listen, here's the truth. God created you that way and He didn't make a mistake. Your personality, you might be more of an introvert. You may look at all your extroverted friends and go, man, I wish I was like them. God didn't make a mistake in you. He created you that way for a reason. Some people can't meet a stranger, and some people, everybody, they want to keep a stranger. Guess what? It's okay. God created you that way. He didn't make a mistake. But what he does want is you to grow in him. To grow in him, to learn who he is, right? Our mission statement at the church is knowing Jesus and making him known. He wants you to know him in all that there is. But listen, there's such a vast array of who Jesus is. It'll take a lifetime and all of eternity to figure it out. But we can start here on earth, and we can seek after him and allow him to change our lives for the better. Only he will change you for the better. Right? He will. And so tonight I want to challenge you with that. Trust God that he didn't make a mistake in your life, but also trust him to let him live free. Let him live through you so you can live for him. Surrender. Right? Tonight, I don't even really want to do an altar call tonight. I feel like the Lord kind of did something during worship, and I'm cool with it. So tonight, I just want you to we're going to take a time just to pray, and I'm going to pray, and if you want to say the same prayer I'm praying, you can. If you want to go rogue and say your own prayer, that's cool too. I don't care. But we're just going to say a prayer of just surrender to the fact of, listen, we see that there are filters, Lord, and we don't want to be filtered. We want to be unfiltered. Right? So let's pray. If you want to pray with me, you can. If you want to, like I said, if you want to do your own thing, that's fine too. But if you're going to pray with me, just say, Jesus, tonight I surrender my heart and my life to you. I no longer want to live a filtered life. I don't want to look at temptations with a filter, with the lies and the promises and all of those things any longer. But I want to look at them unfiltered through your love, to recognize that they aren't going to satisfy my heart and my soul like you. So tonight, Jesus, I surrender it all. And I just ask that you would begin to reveal yourself to me. Show me who you are and show me who I am in you. And let this process begin tonight. In Jesus' name, amen and amen.